What's up, guys? Today we're riding a 2021 KTM 690 Enduro R. Today we're going to start first video on the YouTube channel, cruise around, see what happens. My goal with this YouTube channel is I'm a pilot, probably take you guys flying sometime, little general aviation airplanes. Might try to do some motovlogs. I know that camera angle absolutely sucks right now, so we'll have to I'll get a chin mount and have that properly done. The mic, probably, who knows how terrible that's going to come out, isn't in the right spot really, but I'll mess with it and they'll get better in the future. So if you can suffer it right now, just might have to be what it is, because I don't have the proper chin mount. I thought about putting it up on the top of the helmet, but yeah, I didn't end up doing that. So today you're mounted on the front throttle side of my handlebars on the brush guards, a little bark buster type brush guard. So I just mounted on there just to kind of test it out. I tethered the GoPro on with some zip ties to be kind of safe. Just see how it all works. Kind of playing with this. I don't know, I'm new to it. We'll see what happens. But either way, I plan to post some cool videos on this channel and show you guys some of my cool cars I got. They're old classics, and take you on some rides in there. And fly the airplanes around, ride motorcycles, do all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, let's see what happens. But here's where we're gonna get into it really. So I followed Jesus, I believe in him, and he definitely came to my life when I was absolutely doing anything but looking for him. And so, following Jesus for years now, and I don't know, I figure I like riding motorcycles and doing all my super cool activities that I watch everyone else on YouTube post these videos, and I'm like, man, I do way cooler stuff than that. And so I've, you know, not talking down, I'm watching their YouTube videos, so they were doing stuff I didn't, so whatever, but you know, figure I'd give it a shot. Today is kind of a test run, so you're gonna have like the world's worst angle on the camera. The audio is probably horrible. Yeah, just everything about this video will probably be terrible, but it's like my first one. I posted one just pure riding video, which, you know, whole, you know, whatever, just to see if it would work and play with, and I figured I wouldn't just waste the footage. So today I got the mic. It's not mounted up on my helmet yet, so I still have a lot of work to do on it, but yeah, I'll try it out. But my goal is I'm gonna ride around, and while I'm doing these rides, I'm not having fun, talking about Jesus, talk about life lessons. I've learned a lot of them the hard way, so you know, take that for what it is, and don't be like me, because learning the hard way is called the hard way. It sucks. It's a lot of work, it's not fun, and I kind of look at my life, and you can look back and realize, man, if you just believed and followed and did what Jesus said, kind of how to live life, how the Bible lays out for you, I mean, you're really set up. You don't have to worry about pretty much anything. I mean, life is hard, yeah, I mean, it'll be ups and downs, of course. That's, you're not gonna transcend into like some false reality that some people may try to sell to you, but I mean, life may still be super hard, may suck, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you'll have someone to rely on, and you know where your faith is and all that. So yeah, I'll hope to talk to you guys about that and bring you there. So my first big point of the video today is, I don't know, I'm just testing stuff out, but I'm gonna start off hot, just going right into talking about God and how He lives. A lot of you people that watch motorcycle videos, I used to, just a little background, I used to have a CBR 600 RR when I was 15, so imagine how that went. I was an absolute goon on it. Terrorized the streets of Kansas City back in the day where I used to live. And I still there all the time, but yeah, I rode my CBR around and I went to middle of the map rides, stunt rides. If you watch enough 1320 that YouTube channel and Brian636, you'll find a little 16-year-old on there with a CBR, do all kinds of crazy stuff. And that was me back in the day. And so I kind of know what people that ride are like, and they're a tough crowd. Amazing people, you know, they're like the most terrifying looking people that are like little cutie patootie. I don't know, it's really weird, but you know, we'll see, whatever. So these guys are nuts and try to throw something out there in this type of sector that people don't want to sit down and watch a Billy Graham Foundation sermon on YouTube, or don't want to watch a mega church pastor, you know, or don't want to hear stories all day long in church about this guy's weak and second-hand story. I know, we're just going to talk about God, you know. And if you don't like that stuff, stay here for the Motovlog and talking, and maybe you'll learn something. So I always reserve the right to be wrong in everything I talk about, so don't hate on me if I'm absolutely misguiding you. I'm an idiot on a motorcycle talking about Jesus. I'm not trained in theology or anything. Like I said, I'm a pilot. I'm an airline pilot for a living, so I fly big airplanes, 737s, Boeings. I'm still here, thank God. I'm just joking about that, but yeah, so if you don't like Jesus and you don't like any of that stuff, I mean, a lot of people are like that. But you gotta look at it, man. You gotta say, do I not like Jesus, or do I not like Christians? Because the Bible talks about it, you know. There's the sheep and the shepherd. And look at the Israelites in the desert, you know, when God saved them and pulled them out. Were they doing anything in relation to God's will? You know, you answer me that, yes or no. I mean, I don't know. They're doing crazy stuff out there, worshiping idols, building all this stuff. You know, they're the flock of God. The people are a resemblance of Him, but as the Bible said, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And I think you're an absolute insane person if you can't sit here watching a stupid YouTube video made by an idiot and say, yo, I've said, you know, I've done bad things. If you, I mean, you're an insane person even if you don't believe and follow Jesus, and you can't say that you've done things wrong. I mean, we've all done things wrong, right? And Kif Kelnich or something, some preacher guy, you know, he talks to college kids. I watched some. He used to watch his videos, and still kind of do, and follow him and his son. Shout out to Cliff and Stewart. But he always says, you know, if God's not real, what's your moral guideline to say anything is bad? Because you don't really have a backup. I mean, murder's bad. Yeah, I agree. Everyone pretty much agrees murder's bad. You know, doing kids, protecting them, the majority of everyone that's sane agrees that's super important, right? So without God, how are you going to back up your morals to really have a stance on anything? Because it's not just I feel. Because if you feel, someone may feel a different way, and they can fight you on that, right? How does that make sense? But back to the point, if you're not into Jesus, man, and you're not into Christians, all that, you need to take a hard look and say, do I not like what Jesus teaches, or do I not like the people that follow Him? Because maybe you got into church and you had a bad pastor, you had a bad you had a bad... Sorry, I'm being a hooligan here. The Subaru's in my way. But it's like, you know, do you not like Jesus and God, or do you not like the people that follow him? Because all the people that follow him are sinners. We all deserve to go to hell. I mean, go to the best preacher, the Pope, Billy Graham, me. I mean, your grandma that... What the heck? Alright, well, we'll turn around. I'll give you guys a little view of what I saw. But everyone's a sinner and deserves to die. So if you don't like this stuff, you gotta think of... Alright, hold on. Side note. That's a fake butt. That's insane. And it's like made out of clay or something. I'm not about to touch that. That's insane. And what the point is do you have beef with Jesus and what he says, or the people that follow him? Because guess what? Even if you, who has beef with the people that follow Jesus, you become a Christian, you might still cut someone off in traffic tomorrow, and you might have a little sticker that talks about how great God is, you know? And then people might say, oh, look at that Christian, he's driving like a hooligan. Well, guess what? We all are idiots. We're all sinners. We're all failures. So, swallow your pride, quit making excuses, and realize that it's either you believe Jesus, and you look at his teachings, and then you try to follow him. Alright? You say, here's the narrator of our faith, the author of it, the Shepard. Let's look and do what he wants us to do, and let's make our judgments off him, and let's not make our judgments off the sinners that he had to come here and die for and be beaten on a cross, because we're all such lost little kids in the dark making horrible decisions, doing terrible things to each other, that he had to come do that, past us just completely blatantly ignoring him and thinking we're smarter. I mean, if you think you're smarter than God, I mean, watch some Y-Files videos, or watch, you know, that's a crazy one, but watch some like physics videos about Earth and how the moon rotates on the Earth and the planets and all the stars, and just the massness of how things work. I mean, look at this tree right in front of us. I don't have a good camera view because I'm garbage, but look at that tree. I mean, imagine in space, trillions of miles, dust floating around and nothingness, and suddenly a beautiful tree like that appears in dirt that's, you know, the right nutrients in it and soft enough for it to grow, and then it just magically appears over time. How did that get there? You know, look at a tree. Just go outside sometime. And I know this sounds nuts to say, but that was like one of the hardest reasons I could never say God wasn't real, even when I didn't follow Jesus. You know, I'm not saying that I'm some prophet or something. I'm just an idiot who read the Bible and can, you know, speaking of my own experiences. But look at the trees. I mean, that was always my biggest stumbling block when I was not following Jesus, or I was trying to tell myself reasons that God isn't real. I'd say, you can make all the reasons. Why does God allow all the evil in the world? Why does God allow suffering? Why doesn't God just come down and show himself? Who knows? You know, who are we to ask? If you have a pet turtle and you keep him in a cage, he might wonder why you're not there all day long taking care of him. Well, he has a job to do. Maybe you have stuff going on. Maybe you've given him all he needs to be alright for the whole day, and so you have work to go to or something, and you go and you're gone. But how does he know that? I mean, and I'm not comparing God to us being turtles and him being an owner, a bad owner or something. You know, I'm just saying, who are we to try to pretend that we can look at the vastness of everything in existence and then question God about it? And especially when you look at yourself and you see just how messed up you are. I mean, just think in a day how many lies you tell me yourself, how many times you're scrolling Instagram or TikTok and you see a hot girl, and I mean, it's like the internal lustful thoughts or something that are just in you. When you're just at Chick-fil-A and you're getting a sandwich, you're like, oh, wait, you're all working, you're as hot or something. You think to yourself, it's like, you know, that may not be the right thing to do. That's not good. And it's so normal to us that I mean, it just gets to a level that our sin is so deep rooted in our heart that it's problematic. And you know, you gotta go to the Dr. Jesus to get cleaned up. I mean, when I started following Jesus, I was a insane person. I mean, crazy. I have a good job, you know. I can't talk about all the things that I definitely didn't do as before. And you know, I was able to, you might say, oh, you know, alright, let me gather my thoughts here. But you know, when I was coming to God, I thought, man, I am so messed up. I'm addicted, I'm problematic, I can't think straight, I have horrible behavior. Everything I say is just venom coming out of my mouth. You know, just spewing venom, being a bad person, being selfish, being mean, being rude. Just all the sins, pile them up. There you go. And I remember I was just at like one of the lowest points in my life. And you know, I'll talk about it sometime in another video. Today's the first video ever, and I'm so scatterbrained, shotgun approached the crap out of this. No planning, just showed up to do this, whatever. But you know, I was able to realize, I read the Bible and I was like, God can forgive anyone. And I talked to this girl who I was kind of friends with right as I was trying to clean my life up. And she had done some bad things in the past, you know, questionable decisions. And I won't get too much into it, but she was like, I remember she asked me, she goes, well, if Hitler, after all he did, came to God, right, and said he changed his mind, he changed his ways, he was gonna follow Jesus, he's gonna do the right thing, and he realized how wrong he was, and he truly came to repentance in Jesus, would Jesus forgive him? And the answer is, for one, Jesus didn't say, I died on the cross for everyone except these people in history. You know, he said, I came in to die to pay the price for your sins. And when he says your sins, he's talking to you. He's talking to you as an individual. So it could have been Hitler, could have been P. Diddy, could have been, I don't know, some other bad person, or a whole US government. But sorry, big little joke there. But the thing is you're not too far gone. You never will be. You can you know, fact check me on this in the comments. I don't know, no one's gonna watch this video, so it's fine. But Charles Darwin, he was on his deathbed, and I think he renounced evolution. I'm not saying I have problems with all that in a separate topic, but I'm just saying, for someone that, you know, all the atheist people say, oh, evolution, maybe evolution happened. Who's to say God just wasn't the guy dipped his finger in the pool and, you know, made little things happen? Maybe God tipped the first domino and he set up the trillion others so evolution could happen. How do you know God wasn't in control of that? There's no science in the Bible. You know, people say, oh, the Bible says where? You know, lineages, who knows? Who knows if they're right? I mean, whatever. Get past that. That's not stuff Jesus was talking about. Look at what Jesus said in the Bible. Believe on that. Follow him. Trust in that he paid the price for your sins, and then see where it takes you. See what kind of life you live. You know, just when I got into reading the Bible and I started looking at like Jesus and all, I decided that, you know, thank you, that he'd be nice, let me go. I grew up in church. I always went to church. Even when I was at my lowest of my low, I still occasionally would go to church, which was crazy because I was like, making bad choices, then show up at church the next day. And it's insane that I would live like that, but I don't know. I'd say I always believed in God, but I didn't follow God. I mean, you can believe God's real and not follow and do what he says, but good in the Bible start in Matthew, right? The reason I say Matthew's got the Lord's, what do you call it? I don't know. It's like pretty much a Sunday sermon Jesus gave to like all of humanity, to thousands of people. It was the version where God says, you know, the meek shall inherit the earth, and if someone hits you on the face, turn the one cheek and let him hit the other one, you know. It was that sermon. Try it out. Listen to what Jesus says. And don't, you know, he doesn't talk completely straightforward, because the way he speaks allows you to open it up to interpretation, to take it 800 different ways, you know. Get in Matthew and say, all right, here's some Jesus talking. Get a Bible that has where Jesus talks labeled in red, so you can be like, okay, here's Jesus, here's other people. But look at the red words, what Jesus has to say, and you'll never find a fault in him. You'll say everything he says is good, everything he says is right. Live a little bit, you know. If you look at your life experiences and say, here's where I did the opposite of what Jesus said, how did it turn out for me? And answer yourself if he's right or wrong then. You know, God says to wait till marriage to have coitus with your, you know, I'm using the Big Bang Theory word, sorry, I'm a noob. I don't know if YouTube allows me to say it, but he says wait till marriage. And you'll say, no, God, I'm smarter than you. I want to do this, or I have such strong feelings, God. Why would you design me to have these feelings? You know? So it makes it so hard to abstain, and then you don't abstain, right? And then you just go do it. And in the words of Jesus or God, it says it might seem right for a time, but eventually it's gonna get you. God says it's gonna come back and get you. And you know, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know how bad the repercussions of your sins might be. You just don't know. Ask one of my friends. He gets on the dating websites, finds a girl, slept with her, they have a kid now. She's not the type of person he would have wanted to have a kid with. You know, he made an insane choice, and now he's raising a child separately from someone that he's not in a relationship with, and he loves the kid. The kid is a blessing. I hang out with her. She's the coolest kid ever. But if he would have listened to God, he wouldn't have had that problem arise. And you know, out of sin, God works all things for his glory. And now there's an amazing little kid out there who's like the coolest kid I've ever met. She hits me in the head with toys and it hurts, but other than that, she's pretty cool. And she literally abuses me, but she's awesome. And so, you know, don't take that as, oh, I'll go sin and God's gonna turn it into something to glorify himself and make it a good thing. No, that's not true. That's absolutely taking things the wrong way. You know, you need to look into what these things mean. Read a little bit of Matthew. Read the Sermon on the Mount that I was talking about earlier. The big sermon Jesus gave, pretty much a Sunday sermon, but it's the best one ever, and it changed the whole idea of following God and Jesus. And in doing so, that, you know, just go back and study that. Take God as a starting point. Don't take some random small town preacher and then say, oh man, I didn't like this guy's sermon, this or that, I'm not a Christian, I don't like believing God. No, you don't believe in this one guy. You think he's dumb. Maybe you didn't like his stuff, but you must like Jesus. And I mean, see what he has to say. And if you don't like Jesus, and you're the first person on earth to find something wrong with what he says, you know, and you are being intellectually honest, you know, you're not saying whoa, trying to twist words or anything, and you be honest, you're not gonna find anything. But read the Bible, read that Sermon on the Mount, go on YouTube, look up The Bible Project. The Bible Project. And they make these little animated videos that are incredible, that talk about the Bible, and they explain stuff, and they do it on a very I mean, a 5-year-old to an 80-year-old, it's going to be helpful for both those people. You'll learn something new, you'll take a different perspective on it, and you're not usually going to get anything way out there. There's sometimes people can interpret like crazy things, like in the Old Testament, the Genesis, prehistoric days, people talk about Nephilim, which are like angel, demon, human mixed things, right? Well, you can get really down the rabbit hole on that. The Bible Project plays the safe side. You know, you're not gonna, they'll tell you a realistic, like, hey, that's cool, that could be real, but here's kind of the general consensus. Don't get too carried away on insane stuff, and they'll teach you about that. Yeah, the video of the day is topic of the day is first YouTube channel video, really like motovlog style thing. Terrible camera setup. Follow Jesus, not the people. Follow the shepherd, not the sheep. Right? When you look at Jesus, look at what he has to say, learn what he has to say, reflect on his words. I mean, they'll cut into you. When I first read the Bible, to circle back to this, I was in a horrible state of my life. I was making bad decisions, you know, and it wasn't that bad. I was just like a normal guy, but for whatever reason, like my friends, I kind of just lived life like my friends, but sometimes I do things that were a little more extreme, or, you know, I wasn't using heroin or crack or anything crazy. I mean, I was just like living the life that most everyone does, and it wasn't working for me. You know, I was unhappy, I was sad, and I said, man, before I really just like give up on this crap, on everything, I'm just gonna give up. I was like, I'll read the Bible, and however direction it takes me, I'll read it as a fictional book, just as a pure entertainment. I mean, it's like the most entertaining, cool book ever. Don't ask me about some of the boring things where they talk about, you know, like heretical, like gene lists, like this person, then this person, like of their people being born in families, like, yeah, kind of boring, I got you. But read some of the stories, read Daniel, read Revelations, crazy stuff, read James, John, Mark, Matthew, Luke. I recommend starting in Matthew, the Sermon on the Mount. It's like the first thing you'll start reading in there. It was Jesus going off about, this is how you should live. Here's the things that you're doing wrong. Be nice to others. Respect your parents. Your parents are dumb. They're human. You're a human too. You're dumb too. We're all dumb. We're all just trying our best. If your parents make a mistake, you know. I was incredibly lucky to have fantastic parents, but some people's parents, you know, maybe they're not the best, but you're not the best either. You made mistakes. Yeah, they could have been better. Yeah, they should have been better. They're human. They're sinners. We're all sinners. Get over it. Move on. You know, do what you need to do. You know, talk to a trusted person about this, like someone outside of this, someone, I don't know, seek help, find people to help you figure this out, do whatever, but you know, do things the right way. Do things, I don't know, in a way that you aren't going off the limb, you know. Don't just say, oh, my parents did something bad to me, they grounded me, I'm never gonna speak to them again. You know, don't do that kind of crap. A bad idea. Probably deserved it. I look back at all the times I got in trouble, I probably deserved it. You know, it is what it is. But you know, listen to what Jesus says, look into it, see what it says, read the Bible. Take it as, I have no idea where I am, take it as a fictional book. If you don't, just pure entertainment. You'll be entertained. It's super interesting to read. It's a fun read. Sometimes, you know, some of it's kind of boring, some of it's kind of not. Find a good King James version. It talks funny. It's like reading an old, I don't know, book from about castles and stuff. Who knows? But it's interesting. Try it out. See what happens. See where it takes you. You know, be open. Don't open the book and say, oh, I'm never going to believe in this. Then you'll never believe in it. You know, if I read a thing, if I was a flat earther and I came at a science book that told me about how the earth is round and the reasons why, but I already fully had my mind set and it could never be changed no matter what, even if I was in space looking at Earth, you know, then what's the point? You're wasting your time. Come at it with an open mind. Say, Jesus, if you're real, show yourself to me, help me find you. I'm lost, I'm confused, I don't know what's going on, but I need you, God, because I recognize I'm a sinner and I don't want to pay that price for it, and I know you paid it for me already, so help me find you and believe in you and do what's right. He'll come to you. You know, it's not an overnight thing. I'm 26. It took me a minute. I don't know, I'm getting old. I'm an elderly now and my back hurts at night. But I mean, I've been following Jesus like hardcore for years now, and it took me forever to get off some of these habits. I mean, and it was a fight. I returned to them like a dog returns to its vomit, right? Biblical thing. I returned to some of my bad habits, and then I would go back, and then I would do really good for a while, and then I'd go back. And it's a fight, you know. You're a spiritual warfare. You're in a battle every day. The Bible talks about we can't see what's going on above us, but there's a battle in the sky every day. There's World War III going on up in the air, up in the beautiful sky that you can't see, you know, perhaps. I don't know. I'm drawing a long line, you know, to reality there, but what I'm saying is, you know, it's a daily battle. When imagine you're in the GWAT, you know, global war on terrorism, you're over in Iraq or Afghanistan and you're fighting a battle. Look at how that works. Every day is one small win at a time. It's not nuke 'em, glass the whole place and we won in a day. That's not how life works. That's not how your life will work doing this, following Jesus. It's gonna be a hard, long, probably miserable battle. I mean, it's gonna suck. It's not fun. I don't wake up every day and say, you know, yes, another day of trying my best to not say swear words, trying my best to not look at women lustfully, another day of trying not to get drunk or use nicotine, because popping an old Zimbabwe is pretty fantastic. I mean, it's fun, it feels good, it's nice, it's relaxing, but it's addicting, it's horrible for your health, and it will hurt you in the long run. So, I mean, that stuff is just, it seems good for a time, but it comes back to bite you. It's like take an apple that has poison in it, like a candy apple, because I like sugar, and normal fruit is too healthy for me. It's probably not a fruit. I'm not the brightest star in the sky, but yeah, say you're eating a candy apple from the fair and you're having a great day, but you know this apple you're allergic to, so you might sit there and eat this apple and it tastes amazing and you're having a ton of fun and it tastes great, you're enjoying your day, but you opened a door that you know you shouldn't have done, and now suddenly you're on the floor, your throat's closed up, you can barely breathe, and you're choking, right? Maybe you don't die, whatever, maybe an ambulance comes and you look like an idiot and they stab your butt with an EpiPen or something, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, and now you're fine. Well, they charged you a lot of money, probably, you get embarrassed yourself, you're not feeling good. Was it worth it? You know, was it worth eating that candy apple with chocolate with M&Ms on it, with a little bit of sugar on it, made by some Amish person that doesn't believe in health, and after 4 of these you might die because they taste so good? Maybe. I mean, but that's the thing. It's just, I mean, you're going super fast for this crappy motorcycle. But, yeah, I'm just saying, think about it. I'm not trying to tell you to change your mind. I'm not saying go out tomorrow and become a pastor or go out tomorrow and become Jehovah's Witness. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I don't believe in that crap. But I'm just saying, you know, take a look at it. Spend some time. How much of the time of the day do you spend reading TV? If I told you how much time I spend on Facebook Marketplace a day doing stupid stuff, like looking at things I have no intention of buying, take 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes. I mean, I can't read, so I can read. I'm not that dumb, but I don't like reading. It's hard. And so when I listen to the Bible, I download the Bible app, read a King James version or whatever, and then I just listen to it. You can click a little play button and just listen. You don't even have to read it. I just sit there and I look at my phone and I follow along, read like, you know, a few little things on there for 5 minutes. So you think, come back to it the next day. If you're smarter and better than me, sit down, open up Matthew, read it front to back, see what happens. If you can do that, but take your time. That's the big thing. Don't read some of the important stuff, pause it, look it up, understand it. Don't blow by some of the stuff. There's some, I mean, there's like, you read like a, I don't know, 1,000-page or something, or 1,000-word page. I don't, you know, give me a break here. I'm trying to focus on not hitting butterflies. But you read it, there's a whole bunch of words on one page, and one sentence has something that's really important in there. Come back and take some time, look it up, understand it, and then say, oh, cool, and then move on and do the next one and say, oh, here's something, maybe here's something that doesn't pertain to me. Say, oh, heave it as a warning, move on. Say, oh, if this comes up, I better be careful because I don't struggle with this right now, but I might tomorrow. You know, maybe you're 12 and you don't struggle with lust. You have no problem with it. Well, when you're 18 and women are attractive, things get harder. So take your time, you know, read it, see what you have to think about it. If you're not into that stuff, read Matthew. Just read Matthew. Read the Sermon on the Mount. Take it from me, you know, it'll change you. Read it open and honestly. Read it like, you know, if this is real, maybe I'll do something about it. Just start there. Say, hey, if this is real, I'm gonna have to look into this because this might be super important. You know, that's legit stuff to take into account. And so read it, see what it has to say, watch some of the Bible Project videos on it, and then just take a breath, you know, see what you think about it. See what you think. You know, you don't have to go to church. I'm not asking you to go to church. I'm not asking you to, I don't know, do anything different. Don't do anything different. Just try it out. God will take care of that. You know what they always say? Healthy people don't need doctors, right? Well, guess what? You're a sinner and you're sick and you make sin. You do a lot of sins. You might be the best person ever, but guess what? No one's not a sinner. Everyone's a sinner. You still done bad. Maybe your problem is pride. Maybe you're such a good person, you struggle with pride, and you don't even know it. You think you're the best there ever was and could be. No one's smarter than you, no one's better than you, and that's your problem. And that's a sin, and maybe you need help from God to humble yourself and do the right thing. Maybe you say, oh, I make so much money and I'm so good at this. Like, when this lady at the Mexican restaurant I'm eating at spills the water on me, I'm gonna go off on her. When I get to the hotel, the guy's not standing at the desk and the door's locked and it's 2 a.m. in Austin, Texas, and I'm super tired and I want to go to sleep, but the guy doesn't let me in. Then he comes out with chicken wing juice all over his hands, and I want to tell him what a pinhead Larry he is, but I take a breath and I say, you know what? Dude was just eating dinner. He's probably mowing the wings down. I didn't want to abuse my eyes with seeing that in public. whatever. I do the same thing. It happens. You know, maybe he's been at the desk all night and he stepped back for 3 minutes just to eat his dinner. He's miserable. He's working at a hotel. He's having a hard night. He has whatever going on in his life. You don't know. And he just stepped back to his trip. Yeah, I wanted to yell at the guy, but did I? No. I just said, oh, thanks, man. Went on to my room. I was probably frustrated over it for like an hour or two. Went to bed, woke up the next day, whatever. Forget about it. Move on. It's not that big a deal. I mean, Christ helps you learn these things. He changes you. You know, if you're an old Zimbabwe user, Zentennial, if you're a Zenner, as they say, I'm a Zenner. Probably gonna say I can't without forgetting. Sorry, that's gonna be fun there. But like you say, you're addicted to Zen, addicted to vaping. You know how hard that stuff is to quit? It's horrible for you, I'm telling you. You may not even realize the effects it's having on you. Like having to go to the bathroom a lot, like or something. Using Zen sometimes make you have to pee a lot, or it can make you super dehydrated, or it can give you these little sores in your mouth. It can mess up your heart. If you didn't know that, look at how much aspartame that has in it. So one of my friends won't drink Diet Cokes because, and he was telling me about this. He's like, it's got all this aspartame in it. Bro uses 3 cans of Zen. Like, he'll go through 2 cans of Zen a day on like a crazy hooligan day. Like, he'll blast through like a can a day of Zen, but he won't drink a Diet Coke because he thinks it's too bad. Well, guess what? The reason he won't drink the Diet Coke is it has aspartame in it. Well, guess what? Your Zen has like 10 Coke cans of aspartame. I'm just kidding. That's not a real measurement. I have no idea. I just know it has a lot of aspartame in it. But you'll, I mean, realize what you're doing. Take into account. Think about it. And, you know, if you're addicted to Zen or something, say, God, here's my biggest problem right now is this. I'm struggling to stop Zen. You know, I'm not lusting. I'm not swearing. I'm being a good person. I don't lie. I'm nice to others. Everything about you is perfect, but you're a Zenner. You use Zen. Look at God and say, hey God, I struggle with this. I genuinely need your help. I don't want to do this. I don't even know where to start. But here's the problem. You're not going to have a little light come down from the sky in the basement while you're playing Xbox, thinking this in your head, shine on your face, and then you go, oh, and like God say, your Zennial is taken away. You're not addicted anymore. Well, guess what? That's not how real life works. I mean, that's just not it. You gotta say, hey God, here's my problem. Let's go back to back, swords in the air, and let's fight it. And I'm probably gonna fail, and I need you to pick me up. I'm gonna be face down in the mud once a week, 10 times a week. If I can get down to every other day failing, then you know, that's a start. You know, if I can go through half a can of Zen to this week, or this today, if I can use half a can instead of a whole can, that's my battle now. You know, start small. When I learned to fly airplanes, they didn't send me up in a stupid 737 and say, alright, you're going solo today. Go up and try some spins and stalls and, I don't know, go do some steep turns and then come on back. You're like, what? No, they put me in a little podunk smart car, little sized airplane, little 4-seater junk box Cessna 172 R model, steam gauge. It was actually super nice. Enjoyed flying them. And they let me go dink around in it. They didn't put me in an F-16. You start small, work your way up. You see what I'm saying? If you have an addiction, transfer this to any other thing. Lust, anger, drinking, I don't know, problems. Take it as it is and say, like, you know what? I have a problem. I'm gonna start small. I'm gonna move bigger. And just work on it. You know, how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. You think you're too cool to follow Jesus? Go watch the Sean Ryan show. They got some of the most crazy SEAL Team 6 guys, you know, SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, like, insane guys on there. These guys, I mean, they killed more people than I've seen. I mean, I'm just kidding, that's not true, but some of them are insane people. I mean, they've done crazy things. Listen to their story. They start telling you about the beginning of their life. They walk you through all their military service, so you get all the cool stories in it. They tell you about the horrible things they did with their families, like horrible wife and children situations and all these things. I'm standing up on the pegs right now to be cool. But they tell you about all these things, and then you look at them and they say, yeah, and I gave my life to God. Here's this like 6'5" guy whose forearm is thicker than my head. He's got like, I don't know, these insane tattoos all over him. He looks like a Call of Duty character or something. I don't know. These guys, they're the top tier crazy good people. You know, you don't have to be a noob. You don't have to love God and become, you know, khaki pants that are way too tight, shoved up your butt crack, with stupid shoes, white socks, a little Birkenstocks, and wearing a colored shirt from Walmart. I mean, you can be cool. You can love God and be cool. Look at me, I'm riding a cool motorcycle just like a baddie, and I'm out here talking about God, riding a motorcycle with the worst camera mount ever that I'm probably never gonna have anyone watch this because of it. But I'm just saying, you know, start small, follow God, see what you think, put your toes in the water, but do it earnestly, you know? If you test the water when you're about to go swimming and put your toe in and say, oh, it's too cold, but you never had any intention, no one could have convinced you to get in that water, why did you test it? See what I'm saying? You figuring that out? Picking up what I'm putting down. But I'm gonna crash, this is really soft. But I'm just saying, you know, see what happens. Woo! Got a little loose. But see what happens, you know, test it out. Look at I think his name's Eddie Penny. You know, I was trying really hard to follow God, and I was failing at all fronts, you know. All fronts I was failing. And God does things. There's no mistakes. There's no coincidences. You know, you say, God, if I see a shooting star tonight, I'll follow you forever. I'll believe in you. I'll go do this, that, you know, whatever crap, you know. Don't do that stuff. Don't test God. Still testing God. See, if you do this, I'll do this. But you're making him shoot a shooting star, alright? But then you see a shooting star and you say, oh, it must have just been a shooting star. There's no logical reason. Maybe it was God. Maybe it was literally doing that. But now you're using... God works in logical ways. He doesn't only do stuff and, you know... I mean, when God flew the earth, maybe it was a younger Dryas. There's legit reasoning for that. Like, the earth flooded. I mean, it's not all magic. It's not, God's not some little magician like in a video game that just makes things happen, you know. He works in real logical ways sometimes, and you just got to be open to seeing it. So look at God, see what you think, give them a try, be open and honest when you do it. If you don't like what you see, you know, it's your choice, it's your head. You know, I don't know you. I am riding a motorcycle around and it's freezing cold, but I got my fancy Gore-Tex jacket on, I'm nice and toasty, and I'm living a good life. I'm having fun. You know, if you decide this video is stupid and you don't want to look into God and you want to live your sinful life, guess what? I made the same choice as you a bunch of times. But eventually, I gave up and I said, man, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be like this. I don't like myself. I don't even like my own self. And yeah, I gave up and I said, I mean, you don't have to find yourself in a giving up situation to find God. You can be happy having a great day. You can say, wow, it's a beautiful sunny day in Aruba, I'm sitting on the beach. But this isn't everything, you know? You can have everything you want. You can have all the money in the world and you still want more. You know, watching Joe Rogan, he was like, yeah, I was sitting around with Elon Musk and I felt poor. And yeah, he didn't say, oh, I just had my ego hurt about it or anything, right? He just said, you know, I feel poor. You have so much money. I mean, I'm poor. I'm not poor, but I'm so poor that I don't even know if I had as much money as Joe Rogan, I wouldn't even know what to spend it on. What is Elon Musk spending his money on that Joe Rogan's like in awe of? I mean, I don't even know. It's so far above my head. But yeah, I'm just saying, you know, it's never enough. Never enough. You'll never be enough. There'll never be enough. Women, money, drugs, alcohol, zen, have fun activities. Maybe you get super into like video games, maybe you're super into motorcycles, maybe you're into cars, maybe you're into political stuff, I don't know. Maybe you find something and you overly obsess about it. Guess what? You're never gonna find it there. You're never gonna find what you're looking for. The government's not gonna save you. Your friends aren't gonna save you. Your parents aren't gonna save you. No one's gonna save you. Well, wait, Jesus already did, my dummy. Ah, my God. But Jesus saved you. He already did it. All you have to do, I mean, the person I know think about is think about the thief on the cross. He says, man, he probably never read his Bible. He probably didn't give any money to the church. He probably, who knows how many women he slept with, you know, all this stuff. Maybe he had his Zen in his mouth 5 minutes sooner before they hung him next to Jesus on the cross. You know, think about that guy and say, wow, did he ever do any of these things? But he's in heaven. Well, guess what? That may not work for you. That was his opportunity. You may not be hanging on a cross next to Jesus. Well, he's in person, you know? So do what you do now. Don't wait. It's not on my deathbed, I'm going to say, oh, Jesus, forgive me of my sins, and then I'm going to go to heaven. It's not how that works. I mean, if you have some misconceptions about that, you need to learn. And you should read the Bible to find out the truth. People love telling you what you want to hear. And you don't always... You don't always need to hear what you want to hear, you know? Sometimes you need to be told you're fat and need to go to the gym. If you're really fat and you need to go to the gym and everyone keeps telling you, oh, you're not that big, oh, just take Ozempic, I don't know, you see what I'm saying? But it's not working. Maybe you need to eat less, get up and go to the gym. Maybe you need to go to the doctor and have them put you on some medicine to help. No shame in that. I mean, no shame in anything. Do what you need to do. But when you're sitting on the couch, knuckles deep in a bag of Doritos, and you're on your 8th Netflix movie that day, sometimes someone needs to tell you, you're fat, lazy lard. You get up, go to the gym, and work out. Because it's gonna, and it's not because they hate you. It's because they care about you. They're saying, hey man, what you're doing is not good for you. I want you to become better so you have a better life and things are better for you. You know, like if you're living a bad life and someone says, dude, you should try to go to church, they're not telling you, probably they don't benefit if you go. You realize me making this video, if you guys don't go to church, I don't benefit from it. I mean, I don't get anything out of it. It's not that I don't care, but I may not even know you. You know, you might live in Alaska and I'll never see you. I don't even know your name. So how would not gonna hurt me, but the thing is, it helps you. And I may not know you, but I still care about you. You know, I care about anyone. If I saw someone on the side of the road with their car on fire, I might get out, help pull them out of the car if they're unconscious. I do that because I care about them. I don't know them. It's the same thing with you guys. I mean, look at God. Look at the author. Don't look at the cover of the book. because it doesn't tell you much about the book. I don't know. But yeah, turned out to be a full-on talk about that stuff. I had no plans on it today, but I figure I'll throw it out there, see how it does. I'll get you guys a better YouTube, or a better camera mount. Probably get a chin mount. I'm using my old CBR sports bike helmet. It's a Shoei RF 1200 right now, riding my dual sport around, so it's a little weird looking, but I could mount it on the top of my helmet, but I thought that would look dumb, so, and it wouldn't give like a great point of view. You guys are like 40 miles light years up in the air. It would look kind of silly. So I just threw you guys on my little handlebar thing, which is even worse than that. So yeah, sorry about that. But it'll get better with time. Be patient with me. I'm dumb. Yeah, so I don't know, think about God. Pay attention to it. Give him a chance. All it takes is giving him a chance. So I don't know too much about this YouTube stuff or anything else really. So help me out with it. If there's any recommendations you guys have. Got a Purple Panda mic, GoPro 13 with a media mod, and I plugged it in. I'll get a chin mount for a helmet soon and hook a GoPro up, and then I'll have the mic. This is a test video, to be honest, so hopefully I didn't just do all that talking for no reason. But see how it came out, see what it looks like. Probably throw it up no matter what. One person watches it all, that's good enough for me. No one watches it, I wouldn't either, so I don't blame you. But my butt hurts. I got my seat concept seat coming, but it hurts on the stock one. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll probably, you know, focus on real topics. Today was just a shotgun approach, talking about a bunch of weird topics, giving you something to think about. Ride a little motocicleta around. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Give you guys a bunch more videos. I'll probably make them over all kinds of topics. You know, I'm not gonna give you guys stuff that I don't really have a lot of experience with. You know, we'll talk about things that I've went through, that I either overcome or fight to this day, and we'll see how that works for me, and we'll try to give you guys something to help you through it, because when I was going through all this, I was watching some of the Sean Ryan videos, listening to these guys, and some of that really helped me. Some of it, you know, wasn't so helpful. It was more entertainment, but it was a good way that I could be entertained and kill time and not, you know, be on a sermon video. Get to hear like from other people and learn. So I'll work on it. I'll give you guys some good content, probably. Maybe take you flying, shoot guns with me, ride motorcycles, have a bunch of cool cars. I don't know how that works too much, but I might try doing a car video, driving around some of my old cars and whatever else. That's all a secret now, because I'm secretive, but that'll come out when it comes out. You can see if you like it or not. If you don't like this video, or you made it to the end, I'm genuinely impressed, because I would not have. Probably super boring with the camera angle it has on it. So yeah, but it's good information. I mean, God loves you. Keep searching for him and keep your mind open. He'll find you. It takes time. It's not an overnight process like we talked about. But yeah, keep your eyes on God and he'll get to you. So good luck, guys, and peace out. Read Matthew. Read that Sermon on the Mount. Alright, video one's over. See you guys.